Hi, my name is Maddie. Welcome back to the Anti-Alienation Project. Here I talk about all things related to a certain form of severe child psychological known as parental alienation. Why do I care so much about this? Well, I went through this. Starting around the age 8 or 9, when my parents' marriage went really south, my mom started to manipulate me to reject my dad. I was always daddy's little girl until my mom went on a rampage to turn me against him. I rejected him for 20 years, and it was really hard and most painful part of my life, so now I speak out about it. Today, I'm going to be answering the question, what should you expect when an alienated child reaches out and then goes quiet? I've gotten this question a lot of times, actually. And I remember one of the videos I made was based on a research study I read from the University of Tasmania in Australia. And it mentioned the case where this happens with spontaneous reunification between the adult child and the targeted parent. In a lot of cases, the child will do that exact thing. They will reach out and then go quiet. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm not a therapist. I'm somebody who went through this as a child, adolescent, teenager, young adult. And I can only speak from my personal experience or speculate about what might be going on in this situation. Here's my best guess. I have to say, this wasn't my experience. When I figured out the truth, I called my dad almost immediately and talked it out over the phone and then met up in person, I think the next day. If you are a child who has been through this, let me know in the comments your experience. Did you have a kind of on and off relationship with your targeted parent, or did you reach out and contact and then it was continuous contact? How did it go for you, and why do you think it went that way? That would be helpful, and it might generate a really interesting conversation in the down below. So let me know. Same if you're a targeted parent, I'd like to hear too from you. From my point of view, I think that this probably would happen for one of two reasons. Number one, I think emotional turmoil is a huge part of this entire process. They're probably afraid, anxious, confused, ashamed, maybe feeling ashamed or guilty, maybe worried that you're going to reject them if they come to you, maybe worried that you're not going to forgive them, maybe worried that you'll be angry at them. There's so many reasons related to emotions and the trauma of all of this that might cause them to hesitate, to reach out, or to pull away. I know me, I was so afraid of being rejected by my dad again, which felt like being rejected again, that it was really scary reaching out to him, and it would have been way easier not to. In that early stage where the child has just learned the truth and they are honestly traumatized from realizing they've been so betrayed for so long, so manipulated and used, and they've also hurt you. They've hurt you, and without any actual cause to or justification to. So you have this guilt and shame and sadness and anger, and oh my gosh, it's just, it's horrible. Man, it's horrible. It must be so horrible because I'm laughing. It's a coping mechanism. My point is, the emotional turmoil cannot be stressed enough. The best thing you can do if that is the case is just be calm, consistent, loving, present, reach out, but be loving, just unconditionally loving. They're probably afraid. In that point where you don't know what's up and you don't know what's down and you can't believe your parent did this to you, and you have moments throughout the day where you wonder, is this really true? Could this really be true? Because if this is true, oh my God, like I've lost so many years, and oh my God, I've done so many terrible things to my parent, and it's so much for one person to handle, that at that point, at least for me, I felt like I didn't know who my parent was. I felt like I didn't know who either of my parents were at that point, because I'd been so betrayed by my one parent who had manipulated me. And then I also, at that point, I'm like, okay, so if my dad isn't this person I was made to believe he was during their divorce and thereafter, who is he? Is he the person I remember him being as a small child when I was super close with him? Could he really be that person? So there is an element of the child possibly feeling like they don't know who you are and they might feel nervous to get to know you. Now, the second reason why I think this often happens, where kids reach out and then pull away, or reach out and want a relationship and then go no contact again, which I can imagine is really, really unsettling and might be really difficult for people to that process. I think the second reason would be, this might be obvious, but interference. If they haven't gone no contact with their abusive parent, it's going to be difficult for them to reconnect with you in a way that's fully open, honest, genuine, if they don't go no contact with their abusive parent. Depending on the level of involvement they have with that parent after learning the truth, it is highly likely, in my own opinion, that that parent is going to try to interfere with your reconnection. They're going to try to sabotage the relationship again. And I've actually interviewed people and talked to people and gotten to know people who've had this happen. They reached out to their targeted parent. They were rebuilding the relationship. Their abusive parent totally sabotaged it and they got alienated all over again. I've seen that happen. So if you're somebody who's working on rebuilding the relationship with your parent, please be cognizant of the fact that your alienating parent just might try to sabotage your relationship with your targeted parent, or confuse you, or make you doubt things, especially if they're a master manipulator. There's another possibility that a sibling or another family member might have pulled them back into the fold. Either way, the second reason would be that someone has gotten them back into the fold. I don't really know what to say in terms of what to expect when this happens, but I do know that the best thing to do is to be cool, calm, collected, loving, present, reliable, consistent. If they do ask for space and they are very serious about that, give them space. Respect their boundaries. Make sure that you don't lash out in anger, that you don't express frustration. I know that you have every right to do these things, but I guarantee it's not going to help your relationship with your child moving forward. They are likely very scared, very overwhelmed. They feel betrayed and confused in every emotion in the book. This is a big trauma. And if they're anything like me, I guarantee you that they want nothing more than to have a loving, healthy relationship with you. But it is so scary to bridge that topic at all. In order to do so, and I've mentioned this before, you really have to let go of your pride. You really do. You have to be able to put your pride aside and be willing to consider the possibility that you've done some really terrible things while being under the mind control of your toxic parent. It's not something you want to admit. It's not something anyone wants to admit. And I think that's part of why more people don't speak out about this. The important thing to realize is that for parents is that it's nothing personal to you. You could be any parent. This probably would have happened to you. This is just a type of abuse that a person will do to any ex-partner they have. It's not personal to you, and your child's rejection, although probably feels very personal, extremely personal, I can only imagine, is actually really not personal whatsoever. You could be any parent, and this would have happened. So the best thing you can do is just unconditionally love them. Now, there is hope. There is so much hope with the situation. If your child has figured out the truth, then deep down, it's already game over, in my opinion. If they've learned the truth and they've accepted the truth. That's the important part. Maybe somebody has told them the truth. Maybe somebody has put the pieces together a little bit for them, or maybe they've started to. But it's a different thing to question things versus accept the truth of everything. But once they do accept the truth, I think that even if a parent interferes or if their emotions are too strong and they pull away, I think there's a very high chance that they will return. I really do think so. And from the people I've spoken with, it seems like even when their relationship was sabotaged again, they were able to come back from that eventually. And the more present and loving and communicative their parent was with them, I think the easier it has made. That's what I've seen in the people that I've spoken with. Again, this wasn't exactly my experience. I have had continuous communication with my dad since then, but if they have truly accepted the truth and they want to rebuild a relationship with you, then it's likely just interference or emotional turmoil. Let me know what you think about this situation. Do you have any other ideas about why this might happen? Those are my best guesses. I know this is a very specific situation, but I have had this question asked quite a few times. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and leave a like to get it in the algorithm, inform more people about parental alienation. Thanks for being here. Check out my Etsy store if you haven't done so. I can't talk. If you haven't done so, we have a lot of new awareness gear in there, and I'm super excited about it. I'll see you next time. Bye.